Get ready for the Squawking Eagles Podcast, the show that covers only the Philadelphia Eagles. Think different. Think Squawking Eagles Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Squawking Eagles Podcast. We have quite an episode to talk about today, Mark. How's it going?
It feels good being 1-0. I can't complain.
You know, I just want to throw it out there. Thank you, Giants general manager, for thinking that Daniel Jones needed more money than Saquon Barkley, because we accept that. Thank you.
Because in this part of the world, we enjoy trophies.
We do enjoy trophies in this part of the world. Saquon Barkley, what a game! You know, so we're going to talk about little Saquon's first game as an Eagle.
If you see the video, go back and watch. When we're on that 3rd and 1 at the goal line at the end of the game, his face is like, "Give me the ball.
Yeah, he wanted it.
Let me score this tutty."
He wanted it.
Like, no, we're going to push, which, you know.
Which they tried to do the tush push quite a few times, but only two successful.
Well, I think he's got to learn. I think him and Jurgens definitely need more time together. Clearly, there's some miscommunication.
Yeah.
Secondly, I realized if you go back and watch last year, I feel a lot of times on the tush push, you see Hurts do that classic running back style. You grab the ball and you just chop the legs until you get in. This year, I feel like he just kind of leans forward and waits to get pushed.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're like, "Hey, dude, that's you're less likely to get injured because if your legs get caught up, you know, if you're just laying there, you can't really get injured as easily." But it's not as successful when you have a 500-pound squatter not squatting.
No,
you know?
I agree. Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about the communication between Jalen and Cam. We're going to talk a little bit Eagles D, and about the play at the end of the game with Jalen Carter. So if you want to follow us over at Squawking Eagles Podcast on Instagram, where as we speak, just hit 12,000 followers. So thank you.
Let's go. Thank you, everyone.
Amazing.
Eagles fly. We got this.
Amazing. And then if you're listening on Spotify, give us a follow over there. YouTube, subscribe. It helps us grow, and get our foot in the door with covering the Eagles live 100% all the time as our jobs.
Nice.
Well, let's go. We flew down to Brazil. There was all this talk about Eagles, how dangerous it was. Everybody came back okay.
Not quite everybody.
Not quite everybody. But Eagles
There's
players.
Jordan Love with a speedy recovery.
Well, you want to talk about that? Let's talk about Jordan Love.
Yeah, we just touch on it. It just sucks.
He was having an average game, I'd say. He was an average.
A few good plays.
He has a couple of good plays. He looked pretty good. He looked good.
Yeah, looked like he was going to have a great season.
Yeah, he looked like he was going to have a great season. And then the Eagles kicked a field goal to make it within reach for them to drive down the field and score a touchdown to win the game. And Jordan Love was trying to make a play, and he laddered it back to Jacobs, I guess it was.
Yeah, and
Jalen Carter got him around the legs.
So Carter was already on the ground, being forced down by a block, saw the legs, made the correct football play. He grabbed for both legs and tried to bring him down by the knee, which you see him kind of put the weight up. But the goal is, and for anyone who doesn't play football, you're kind of told to do that because if you put the weight behind the knee bends naturally, and they come down. You put the weight below the knee, you're more likely to injure somebody, especially if you grab one leg. If you look there, he does go for both legs, tries to lift the weight up on the knee to do the proper, I'm going to tackle you, not hurt you style play. It wasn't an intentional injury. And of all times, I mean, not that you ever want to injure in the first game, but first game on the final drive, that's heartbreaking. I know it was the team we're playing against, but you don't want to see that.
And Packers fans have not been too kind to Jalen Carter on Instagram. They've been sending him quite a few hate messages, racial slur messages.
People probably do the same thing if they did it to Hurts. People do the same thing if you do it to Mahomes.
All I gotta say is Bryce Pop Randall Cunningham, Green Bay. That's what happened. It's the same thing. Randall Cunningham was going back. Bryce Pop came and hit him in his knee, and it ended his year for the Eagles. And it's virtually, it looks like that's almost what's going to happen here with Jordan Love. His year is going to be done.
Yeah, judging by that knee, like I said, originally when I first saw it, I thought, I saw the foot underneath. I thought, okay, that's just the ankle. And then I saw the replay of the knee, and I was like, oh, knees aren't supposed to pop.
No, you're not supposed to see that thing on screen.
No, that was painful. And again, you never know. It literally could have been something as weird as like a dislocation.
Right.
He could be back in 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It could be an ACL tear. It could be what's it called? The Achilles.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. There's somebody who posted a video of it and slowed it down, you can actually see his knee move where it's not supposed to move.
Yeah, it's not good.
Not good.
Hey, we'll figure it out.
Hey, but I know Jalen Carter is terribly sorry about it. It's, again, a football. It's part of football. It's going to happen.
Yeah, people are going to get hurt. It just sucks who it was and when it was. That's the worst part. Is that it was just like final drive heroics, man, and that's when people got hurt the worst. Yeah, because people are doing extra to try to win a game. It sucks to deal with.
Yeah.
So
yeah, let's hopefully he's okay and he'll come back this season.
We'll see how that plays out. But for now, on a side note, Jalen Carter, I know he had a bit of a rough start, a couple weird penalties, a couple quick offsides, but he was ferocious. And he got in the backfield a lot. He was doing some problems against those guards last night.
Yeah,
looked good. Our D looked good. Those early turnovers.
I want to talk about our D. Yes, let's talk about our D.
Turnovers were solidified by our defense. It was.
If those drives for the Packers, if they don't end with field goals, we're not talking about an Eagles win here.
No. Those are touchdowns. We did not win that game.
No.
I'll tell you what. Those which we have to Hurts later about that. If you look on the second drive where they start at the 20, on their third down play, they are in a pretty good position. I said it. You just got to watch closely. You see Dean scan, lift his head up and say something. The entire defense makes a shift. Everyone's covered. There's nowhere for Love to throw the ball.
Yeah.
It's like he reads it, he reacts, he makes the call, the team responds. It is noticeable having Dean in the field.
I also want to take back anything I said bad about Zach Bond. That guy was
tackle machine
animal. He was all over the place. And I'm happy with Dean and Bond, man. Bond.
I'm sure I'll get hate for hyping up this guy over and over, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
Bond looked okay playing with White. Bond looked great playing with Dean.
Right, yeah.
I tell you, and look, in the preseason game when we got gashed in the run, Dean was on the field.
Right.
Dean's on the field. Josh Jacobs comes out, and you see him make the adjustments. The D tackles move, the D ends move, the shifts happen. Players are there to make the plays.
Yeah, they were flying all over that field.
Swing pass, I thought that man lost his life to Dean. Dean read that play. I heard it. I swear, my sister was there watching it with us. I'm pretty sure she was like, she's going to get up to get a drink, startled by that shot. It was so clear, that smack.
Yeah. It was remnants of a little Sheldon Brown to Reggie Bush kind of hit. Yeah. It was good.
That man did not get up happy. He was like, what?
No.
What just happened to my life?
And then again, we didn't have Isaiah Rodgers. He was out with a hand injury, and they threw Quinyon Mitchell in there. And
I thought he'd get picked on. He did.
He did, but he stopped. He made a couple good plays.
He made a couple good plays. He made a couple bad plays.
He did. There was a lot of plays where he was left out and open too much, and he thought there was a safety to cover behind him, and there was no safety to cover behind him.
I will say, I said he was going to get a pick. I said we were going to get a pick, but I said he was going to get a pick. I was wrong about that, but we did get one. Thank you, Mr. Reed Blankenship, for being all over that play.
Yeah, he's like, I think Reed Blankenship is really undervalued of what we think he is. He really is a good safety. He really is.
Yeah. I will say, a little disappointment between him and CJGJ on that Jaden Reed touchdown.
Yeah.
That was a miscommunication. That was miscoverage by one or both of them.
Yeah.
But, I think and you're talking about early game, like first game jitters. We saw it with the Ravens and Chiefs game. Penalties galore.
Yeah, it was a lot of
our
penalties.
ref last night lost his voice.
from talking about so many penalties. Yeah.
The illegal formations are going to make offensive lines furious by the end of the year. They're sick of them.
Yeah.
It's I understand too, because like Lane Johnson, you could see in him last night on the one he got called for. He's like looking at me, he's like, I looked at you, I checked with you, and you said I was good.
Yeah, but then like when you look back at the video, his helmet was not lined up.
No, he's definitely not lined up. I get it, and that's why I understand the penalty. But I'm saying like the refs, if you're going to call that, you have to call it the whole way. You can't lie to a player that if they're checking you.
I know, and
that's the point of your job.
I think we talked about this last year, where during the Chiefs Bills game, they were lining up. They were doing the same thing. The receivers were asking, "Are we lined up?" And they said yes, and
then they got a flag.
So I'm not sure if they really need to continue doing that. They got to stop relying on what the referee says and just line up and make sure they're lined up.
Yeah, interesting setup, but those illegal formations are going to get called a lot the first couple weeks.
Yeah, there was quite a few of them, and I think when the Packers the Packers had somebody going, two people in motion running at the same time, and nobody stopped at all. Jordan Love just hiked the ball.
Yeah. Also on that failed tush push at the end zone.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, there's not a camera angle that doesn't show that Green Bay is 100% offsides on that play.
They were like on Cam Jurgens' helmet, right?
Yes, 7 of them have their head across the line, and there's
I think they're not going to call it because they want it to stop. They don't want it to continue to be good. So there was 2 successful brotherly shoves this game.
That's true.
There was more failures than there were successes. So.
You know what's great though? When we give the ball to Saquon.
Just give it to Saquon. Like
it looked really good last night.
3 touchdowns, 2 rushing, 1 receiving. He is our player of the game for sure.
Oh yeah, there is no question about that. No,
if he doesn't show up like he did, it's a totally different game as well.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. A few times Gainwell was in, I was sitting there watching, like, why is Gainwell in? And Gainwell made a couple plays. We're like, okay, Gainwell, that one catch where he's behind the line of scrimmage, he's definitely down.
Yeah, and he got a first down.
It's a first. I was like,
yeah,
who's this Gainwell?
I wish Miguel was here because I know Miguel loves some Kenny Gainwell, and to be able to talk some good stuff about him. I know he's not here, but Miguel, we miss you.
Wake up, bud.
Wake up. But anyway,
come see the trophy.
Let's talk about Cam Jurgens and Jalen Hurts' communication here. All the offseason, that's all they talked about is their communication. How are they going to do? And then, lo and behold, the first time he's in shotgun, and Cam Jurgens hikes the ball before Jalen Hurts was even ready, and he loses the ball. And then after that, they went to silent snaps where Becton was telling her Jurgens when to snap it. What are your thoughts?
I mean, the communication definitely is something they need to work on. I'm wondering if because Hurts has more responsibilities, he is in the middle of a cadence and makes adjustments, and that's throwing off Jurgens. Because I think with Kelsey, he doesn't have to do that because Kelsey made the adjustments. Yeah. So, like, he could be mid-cadence, and Kelsey would do what he needed to do, and he could just continue the cadence. And I think, especially down there, that was a loud stadium. Not that it won't be the rest of the season. Everywhere we play is going to be loud, but that was a loud stadium. And I'm thinking he is listening for the cadence. Here's some of them. I mean, I don't know if you've ever worn a football helmet. Communications are not great, especially when you're facing away from somebody. Yeah. So if you hear half the cadence and then you hear 2 or 3 more words, but, not understood, snap the ball. It's your job.
Yeah.
I don't know what's worse, him snapping the ball early or, which, didn't end well for us, or the Packers center who just didn't snap the ball when everyone else moved.
Right.
He's like, well, what cadence? Oh, ball right here.
What are we supposed to be doing here? Yeah, I agree.
Ball started on everyone but the center.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be, I don't want to say rust because it was their fault that they didn't play in the preseason, so I'm not calling it rust.
Agreed.
I'm also not going to call it like this all this talk in the preseason with Jalen throwing 137 passes without interception, and he throws 2 game 1.
2 horrible decision interceptions that were 110% his fault.
Yeah. And I don't want to hear anything about that. I don't have no excuses of why that happened.
He almost threw 3. His one pass to Jahan Dotson, the one time he should not have thrown it to Jahan Dotson because Jahan Dotson was clearly covered, and that should have been a pick 6 if the corner is any better.
Well, he also threw one to AJ Brown where the corner was in front of him.
Brown had to make the play. So that was technically like 4 picks last night.
Yeah.
And they were all Hurts' fault.
Yes.
None of them were like a tipped ball. None of them were, a receiver making the wrong play. They were all Hurts' decision making.
100%.
I did not like it. Didn't feel like Hurts was coming off his first or second read. I feel like if you watch him, he looked like a young college kid again. He's staring down his receivers and would sometimes look to the second. And then when he would scramble, his eyes would not go downfield again, almost ever. And the one time they did was a terrible throw to an interception.
Yeah. I don't know.
If he kept his eyes downfield, you see AJ Brown open. And AJ Brown sitting there like, hey, I'm here. And when he finally looks up and sees it and throws it, he's covered.
Too late. Yeah, it's too late. That's how fast they rebound to cover him. AJ Brown had a good game, 119 yards and a touchdown.
AJ Brown looked really good.
Yeah.
Devontae Smith looked good. Like
Devontae Smith
looked pretty good, minus the terrible decision making at quarterback and the miscommunication between quarterback and center.
Right. If you take out those terrible decision makings, they were the all-star team that they were supposed to be. Devontae Smith making his plays to get first downs on third downs. AJ Brown putting up a lot of numbers. Saquon with 3 touchdowns. They should have been a blowout. It should have been a complete blowout game.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, it's crazy that it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Like, if we don't throw the interceptions and we don't have a fumble, we could dominate the game. Yeah. If our defense doesn't stack up to the challenge, we get blown out.
Yeah.
Like, if both those early turnovers become touchdowns, or all 3 of the turnovers became touchdowns, that's a hugely different game.
Yeah, they're very lucky that they only were field goals.
Our defense stepped up hard. I will say Jaden Reed looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
I know we haven't talked since the other game. I'll do a quick touch in on the Ravens-Chiefs game. I don't like you, and I don't like Xavier Worthy. I don't like that you were happy about Xavier Worthy. I really didn't want him to be good. He was.
Yeah.
And Jaden Reed looked very much like like Xavier Worthy, being that kind of end-around for speed guy. Like, there's a lot happening. These new young guys are something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, they're gonna cause some havoc, I think. And
I have a bad feeling about how Xavier Worthy is gonna be welcome into the league, and it might be with a few too many touchdowns for my liking.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have, like I said, he's on my fantasy team. I put him on my bench, just in case.
Leave him there because I think he's about to have a 15+ touchdown season if they play like that.
And he'll be starting over whoever 3 receivers have the worst game this week for me. He'll go in for that. He'll go in.
Nice.
I'll try to trade them. So we'll see.
Yeah, mine did not do as well. I haven't had a lot of people play. I try not to draft too many Eagles.
I try not to do that anymore.
But main thought of like it makes me more angry with them, and I don't want to be angry with them if they have a bad game. I want to just talk it over and get over it.
Yeah.
But I have a few. I will say I took Elliott in almost every league I could, and he's reliable.
Very
reliable. I love Elliott.
Speaking of kicking, now that we've really seen a full game of the dynamic kickoff, they're calling it. They kept saying dynamic kickoff. Do you see a difference in anything, or I don't really? My opinion is
the Packers did the squib kick I was telling you about.
Yeah,
they didn't hit at a player, but they hit a nice low line drive that we almost struggled to return.
Yeah.
I think if more kickers do that, you'll see it happen more often. It's a better idea because we didn't get 30 yards.
No.
If you can get it to get over the line, but just so it bounces and rolls, you have a really good chance at cutting down their return.
Yeah, I agree.
However, I stand by what I said earlier. It needs to be, if it's in the end zone, they start at the 40. which is ridiculous. If you kick out of bounds, it's got to start like the 50. It's got to be a deterrent because now, like
35,
everyone's trying to kick or two and goes, you know what? What's an extra 5 yards? Just kick it in the end zone, be safe.
Yeah, and that's what they did. They did that. They kicked the end zone.
Every single return that was done was kept under 30.
Yeah.
So like teams are just gonna kick it to the 30 or kick it out until you get it.
Yeah, especially like the last kickoff when the Eagles kicked that field goal to go up by 5.
Why did he try to run it
out? Why are you running out of the end zone? He got to the 20.
Crazy.
That was
crazy. I didn't think he got to the 20. I thought he did like the 16.
It was close. It was way back there. If it wasn't 35,
it was 30. Yeah. Yeah, but I think they got to have it be, if they're going to do this, they want to encourage the returns. If it hits the end zone, it's got to start at the 40. You got to make defenses go, don't do that.
Yeah.
Do not kick it in the end zone because we're not wanting to play a short field the whole time.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what they have. That's the adjustment I think they have to do to make it more of a penalty for kicking it into the end zone.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how they continue to grow that because, like I said, there's some kickers you see just clearly don't care. In the Ravens game, Justin Tucker just said, I'm going to try for field goals.
Yeah.
That's all he does.
Yeah.
And,
Elliott wasn't even doing it. It was Brad Mann was doing it.
I saw that, which is interesting.
Yeah, so it wasn't even Elliott out there. But
save the leg, I guess.
Before the beginning of the game, a lot of people were slipping. Everybody was saying, "Oh, the field this, the field that." It was not good. They said it was half turf, half artificial turf. I don't know how they
half grass, half turf.
How do they?
So it's half natural grass mixed in with the what they do is they aerate and then they fill in with turf seedlings and such.
Oh, geez,
or like the turf strands.
Yeah.
For soccer, it's a great field, and they talk about that. Even Jake Elliott tried to tell the players, like, look, soccer plays on different styles of field than we do.
Yeah,
it is more slippery on any major soccer field or football, as they probably call it.
It was a football field.
Than we play our football fields on. Our football fields have always kind of been like a harder, compact dirt style for years. We've slowly been switching over to the different kinds of turfs, but we tend to have a more absorbent turf, whether they be a really high end grass that does that, or artificial turf that we all have grown to hate.
Yeah.
But they always tend to be like a more absorbent, a little bit more like we're gonna let the water run away. It's built to have high drainage, built to keep that composure.
Right.
Soccer fields aren't always built for that. They're kind of built to like be more natural, be more field-esque.
Yeah.
You think how many you grow up, like almost no time in your youth do you play soccer in like an artificial environment. It's usually outside in a field. Now, I understand playing football, you'd be like, oh, it's similar, but it's not. Like I know youth football around here that plays at the high school stadiums.
Yeah.
They're playing on defined turf.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely different.
It is very different.
At least both teams had a problem, unlike the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Right.
Even the refs were changing their cleats.
Yeah.
Crazy how it's when the field's bad, it does affect both teams normally.
Yeah.
But yeah, that opening play for Saquon was pain to watch.
Yeah, the slip and the first, like, it was like, I'm like, all right, what are we gonna? Is this the kind of the career he's gonna have, or he's just gonna be slipping around and not gonna be able to get his footing on? But then
it's just that field.
It's that field.
Another little side note to a game previous: Isaiah Likely needs to wear cleats 1/2 size too small. That was insane.
Yeah. To lose a game on just like
by your toenail,
inches,
not even an inch, just your toenail.
Yeah, man,
you didn't clip your toenails this morning that day. Likely, that's it. What a play!
Yeah, that was a good game. The Raiders are good. They're going to be a really, really tough team to play.
You said Raiders or Ravens?
Ravens.
I thought you said Raiders. Like that was the Ravens. I will say the Ravens looked really good. The Chiefs looked like their deposit went through. The refs are happy, and so they will be very well rewarded this year
for sure.
I think Harbaugh was so sick of the penalties by the end of the game.
Yeah. I think I saw something that the Cowboys are no longer the most hated team in football. It's now the Chiefs.
I get it because it feels like the Chiefs literally pay the refs.
Yeah.
Like you don't see it's crazy because we're you're just hating, but it's like the amount of penalties called against teams facing the refs isn't are facing the Chiefs is an unrealistic number. It's crazy. I saw a thing the other day. It was like teams are penalized more against the Chiefs by like 80% than they are any other team. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that, right? It's that they've set it up that way.
In fact, there's been more like roughing the passer penalties called against Mahomes than there was against Brady. Brady had a lot longer career.
How about the roughing the passer on? I think it was
on Vaughn.
On Vaughn.
That was baloney.
That was a terrible call.
Well, granted, I'll tell Vaughn, hey, you just can't follow through with the arms. That extension of the arms is what got that call.
Yeah,
I know it as a former defender. It was a lame call.
It was lame,
but you are taught that ball's gone. Just
keep your arms so hard.
Even if you hit him, but you keep your arms in close.
Yeah,
you pulled up. It's not roughing the passer. That extension is roughing the passer.
Yeah,
it's crap.
Yeah,
but that's how you're taught. Yeah. They're gonna call it. It was rough, man.
I think we're set with Vaughn and Dean in the middle. I have a little concerns about Huff and Nolan Smith on the outside.
Nolan Smith had some plays. He was getting caught up, but I will say there was so much penetration.
There was.
That I think you're going to see teams in the future, they're going to have to continue to double team Carter.
Yep.
And I think you're going to see more out of Smith and Huff as teams try to stop that monster.
Right. And Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis had a good game too.
He did, yeah. Smith and Huff were routinely locked up by tackles, which they will be. That's how good tackles are against DNs. When they're facing them one-on-one directly, they're gonna win. They're much bigger people. Huff had some good plays, got a few penalties called through his way. He was fighting through it. But the big thing was more is that he played the Jordan Davis role. So did Jordan Davis, where like, I'm going to take up a body and let someone else do the job. And Jalen Carter didn't disappoint. He said, I'm getting in the backfield every play. Explain to me. I'll have to find the clip. There's one play towards the end of the game, I think it was. The Packers are driving. Jalen Carter is through the line going after Love. There are two men, center and guard, both grabbing him from behind.
Yeah.
Clear as day. They're just like, we're not letting you get through.
Yeah.
And he's just, like Naruto running through this.
There was a lot of jersey holding and jersey grabbing in that game on both sides. Quinyon Mitchell was doing. I saw him doing it.
At the end of the play, the camera's on him, and his pads and jersey are like this against his neck, and he's like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he wasn't held.
That doesn't happen naturally.
Yeah, when I run, my shirt comes up to my chin.
Right. All the time. Yeah.
Mitchell is a little handsy. He was in college too.
Yeah.
It's gonna bite him. You're gonna play a team like the Chiefs where the refs you're not allowed to do that because it determines the game. We're gonna throw it on you. He does play clean hands. He does his hands where he's supposed to, but it's too handsy for the NFL. They're gonna call him.
Yeah. I think the defense is going to be a little bit better next week against the Falcons with Isaiah Rodgers. Hopefully he'll be back. And Avonte Maddox is off the field.
Yeah, can he not be on the field? I was pulling hair out every time I saw anything near him. He was a leaky faucet on that defense.
Yeah, I used to be a big Avonte Maddox fan. He was really good. And his injuries have caught up to him, and he's not the same player at all. And I think Quinyon will take over that spot for him, and Isaiah Rodgers on the outside. That's going to be a nice little switch, and it's going to make the defense a lot better.
Yeah, I was interested because I didn't see Ringo out at all.
No, he's on cover team. He wasn't ever out there.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
how do you have a man with 100% tackle percentage who is fighting for your spot there and not even get a rep?
Yeah, I don't know.
Crazy.
Yeah,
but Avonte Maddox did.
I think that they're going to have
Avonte Maddox is starting to give me Nelson Aguilar vibes.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I'm not happy with it. Yeah. So overall, what's one word that you would take away from this game? We usually during the year we do our one word for the game that describes it for us. What would you describe this game as with one word?
Should have thought about this beforehand. I kind of forgot we did this. Yeah. I'll start off simple and say tenacity. There was a lot of just grit and determination throughout the game. And the defense had some tenacity to get the dub.
Yeah, they did. The defense, I think it was, if it wasn't for the defense, we're not talking about the only team to win in the Southern Hemisphere right now.
Very true. I will say, I think the offense kind of turned it on there in the second half, but yeah,
it did. I think Kellen Moore made adjustments in that second half. I thought the first half, the offense looked the same as it did last year.
It was painful.
Broken RPOs, miscommunication. It was like it was a continuation of that run last year.
I'll tell you what, I don't like Hurt's decision making right now.
Yeah,
he still feels like he's stuck in last year. I think the team around him played better.
Yeah,
I didn't like what Hurts was showing, my guy. I'll tell you what, I don't want to be one of those guys, but in 2 years, Arch Manning's available.
Man, I'm going to say my word is going to be Saquon.
It's a good word.
Saquon is my word. He had a debut of all debuts. The last Eagles player to score 3 touchdowns on their debut was Terrell Owens. And then what did they do? They went to the Super Bowl that year. So
they did, and then we got cheated.
Yes. So I think it's a good sign that Saquon is just as advertised, and I'm excited to see more games with him in the backfield.
Oh yeah, I'm ready for more football. You know what we're gonna do today?
What are you doing today?
All right, I've got a lot of things doing today. I'm busy as hell. When I'm done with all my busyness, I'm gonna watch college football.
Yes.
And when I'm done with college football, I'm gonna go to sleep and wake before I watch NFL football.
Yes.
I'm just watching football.
Yes, that's what we do. That's what we do.
I had the projector up last night on the deck. I had wings and pizza. It was so nice.
Yeah, I'm going to have to attend one of those games on the deck now.
Yeah. It's a party.
Have to do that. Yeah,
that's where champions hang out.
Apparently.
You know what? I guess I have to at least allow you over since your name's on there from the year before.
My name is on there.
Last and only time. It looks good on there, but it's going to be probably the last one. Well, a lot of marks coming up on this thing.
A lot of marks coming. Okay. All right. It's a shame Miguel wasn't here, but again, we're not going to talk about the Falcons game because we're recording this before they have even played their first game yet.
We'll see how that goes. I'm interested to see how they play. I know people have pretty high hopes for Drake London with, Kirk there at
they should have a solid defense. I can't
Bijan.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm gonna, I'll watch that game and then we'll come back next week and we'll give you a Atlanta game preview.
You know what I did say on the last podcast?
Yeah,
pretty sure I said on the podcast. I said containing Jacobs will determine the game.
Yeah, 100%.
Did Jacobs score?
No.
Did we win?
Yes. Yeah.
I rest my case.
Rest my case. That's
I will say he did have a few big plays. Most of them brought back by penalty.
Yeah.
Lucky us. But yeah. No, I think it was a good week. Go Birds.
Yeah.
Let's watch more football.
Yeah, let's go. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week. Eagles Falcons pregame show. You know how we do. EAGLES.
Eagles. Let's go, Birds.
I'll hit some music right now.